It is up. It is hard to believe it is already week 10. I cannot believe it. Thanksgiving is around the corner, and the season is flying by. But we are here, as usual, to break down the week for you in DFS, so hang tight.
Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is going on, and welcome to episode 443 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Geoff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeoffLambert77. We actually have a guest joining us tonight. He's got a long list of things here, so let me just get the list out. He is from Fantasy Pros, Betting Pros, Props US, Sharp Analysis, and then just recently Forbes added to that list as well. Josh, what's up, man?
Not too much. How we doing, Jeff?
Good, man. Good. Glad to have you on. I think you were on, was it last year you were on or the year before? You were on, sometime recently, I believe.
I was. Nailed my Jalen Coker sick call from the Cowboys-Panthers game, but nailed nothing else in that game. So that ended up going to waste. So I'm trying to redeem myself here tonight.
Good stuff. So real quick, just give everybody out there a little quick rundown of yourself and what are you doing over at Forbes now?
Doing some betting coverage, pretty much whatever I'd like to there, but I'm focusing on player props, namely NFL player props right now. Doing a lot of the same for props.com, mostly underdog props there, which I won't mention any other sites other than DraftKings beyond that. But otherwise, keeping busy at Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros in the DFS streets this time of year, man. I'm still get my full season fix, but that DraftKings DFS hit's a little different.
Yeah, good stuff. Of course, joining us as always, Gerson. G, what's up, man?
What up? Not much. I mean, you are looking at the costume of the year winner and Halloween last week.
Nice.
I won at my Halloween party. One of my best friends' Halloween party. Everybody was they loved it. I rode in there with a bike and stuff. And I put the theme song of the Saw Clown. I told everybody come outside because I'm rolling in, and
That's
it
awesome.
hit. No, a lot of people didn't even know it was me until I took off the mask. They're like, "Oh, gee!" I'm like, "You guys ever seen a Saw Clown this big?" But it was fun. It was fun.
Good stuff. We got some people in the chat already. We got Joey in there. What's up, Joey? We got Mickey in here, and I don't know if y'all recognize this guy or not. Y'all know who Tim is? Tim Strobel. He's in the chat as well. What's up, Tim? All right. Let's go ahead and jump right into it.
The Weekly Rewind. Rewind.
All right. One good, one bad. We'll go to you first, Josh. What was your one good and one bad from last week?
Well, you certainly had your pick of blow-ups at tight end, but I was glad to hit on the Kincaid call. Game script didn't quite go exactly as I expected, but liked the coverage types that Kansas City was running and Kincaid's numbers against those. So glad that he hit. That was one of the better finds, especially salary considered last week on a good week for double tight end. So I was happy with that one.
What about your one bad?
One bad came from the same game. Fortunately, as a Bills fan, Mahomes had his lowest completion percentage of his career in a game and just laid up a stinker, which the worst part is early in the week, talking to some of my colleagues at one of the sites, I said, yeah, I kind of expect this to be a ball control game, not getting to shootout territory. And as the week went along, the other devil on my shoulder, I guess, said, look at those scores, look at the shootouts in the previous games. And it was just like game after game, I swore to myself, yeah, this is going to shoot out. I'm the one that's out of touch here. And nope, I should have trusted the gut right off the bat.
For sure. What about you, G? What was your one good, one bad last week?
Yeah, my one bad was Kamani Vidal. Yeah, I watched that game and it just looked like the Chargers were out of sync. Like they looked like a mess. And
they were definitely
they should have won that game by more, but they just looked like themselves. He also ruined like 5 of my slips on Underdog and the other company, I guess people can't say.
You can say it. You can say it. It's Prize Picks.
Okay.
I know.
But yeah. He ruined my slip on Prize Pick. I could have won probably like over $3,000 on there. But on DFS, it also. Oh, I got lucky. My one good was Joe Flacco. I said it on the podcast that if Joe Flacco plays, I am playing that game, and I was going to target that game. And that was a great call. So that like basically brought all my bankroll a little heavier. So, and I allowed a correlation with Kyle Monangai on the other side. So it allowed to not like have a lot of Roma Dunze. So it basically just brought him back. And I had about 99.9% Monangai. I just went with it, man. But yeah, I like the Joe Flacco. The reason why I said Joe Flacco, not Kyle Monangai, because Joe Flacco was the reason why it made it all happen, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Monangai was like pretty much chalk. I mean, he was one of the more popular plays. Good stuff. Tim, even though he's not on the show, did fill out his sheet. So his one good last week was Bowers in cash. And I wish I had taken that advice as well, because I did not go with Bowers in cash. I should have. I would have been a lot better off. And his one bad last week was DK Metcalf, who kind of threw up a stinker there for sure. For me, my one good was going Justin Herbert. I played a lot, talked about him on the show, that I wanted to really go with Justin Herbert. He actually had a really good game, and it was a good pivot off of the one bad that I had was Patrick Mahomes, where I had a lot of exposure to Patrick Mahomes, as we just mentioned. It did not go the way we expected it to go in that game, so he hurt with my lineups for sure. All right, let's get into this week.
Let's talk quarterbacks.
All right, and just looking at the sheet, we have a full slate of running backs and wide receivers, so we're going to have to fly through these quarterbacks and tight ends so that we can get to all those running backs and wide receivers. But right here at the top, G, give me one of your favorite plays here.
I think my favorite player of the week is actually going to be Josh Allen. I don't know, the vibe in Miami is still kind of weird, kind of awkward. I mean, we saw the Jets. It just got more awkward for them. It's going to get more awkward for the Dolphins as the season goes on. Josh Allen just basically annihilates the Dolphins. He has like, hold on.
I actually got his splits here. He averages 27.4 fantasy points per game versus Miami, which is the highest average versus any AFC team. So, yeah, he definitely owns the Miami Dolphins for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he got 23 for 26 last week. He was nearly perfect. 1 touchdown, but he had 28 fantasy points because he had 2 rushing touchdowns. And he accounted for multiple touchdowns 6 straight games now. That's 7 out of 8. I mean, Miami also plays a lot of cover 2, which is 29% in cover 3. So that's basically 52%. And Josh Allen just basically shreds that apart. I mean, he does very well against cover 2 and cover 3. I don't expect the Dolphins to even be relevant, be close to competitive in this game. They just traded Jalen Phillips for like a third or something, and it seems like they're just on a downhill. It is kind of hard to correlate it though, because you never know who's going to top off. But I'm really hoping, I'm crossing my fingers here. Obviously, I never wish anybody to get hurt, but I'm really hoping James Cook is out. Because if James Cook is out, they're going to pass the ball. And
last I heard, I think he was a full practice today, or he's healthy. He's expected to play, so he will be in.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Off the injury report entirely.
Yeah, off the injury report entirely for sure. What about you, Josh? What do you got for one of your favorite plays?
We'll start with Matthew Stafford. I mean, that game is just star-studded. both offenses have some firepower, and the poor 49ers, my goodness, that defense has been ravaged by injury after injury. They don't have a pass rush anymore. In the last 4 weeks, they've surrendered 251.5 passing yards per game and 7 touchdowns with only 1 interception, allowing 69.2% of the passes to be completed against them. That's via the fantasy points data suite. I mean, they're just in a rock and a hard place. And Stafford's playing at an MVP level right now. So, I mean, you've got some fun things you can do in that game with him, whether it's a little pricey to double stack him with his top 2 wideouts and McCaffrey as a bring back. It's possible. I've done it on a handful of GPP builds right now, but I mean, even if you single stack him with one of those, or you bring him back with some cheaper options from San Francisco, there's some fun options in a game that could shoot out.
Yeah, definitely. I think last I looked, I believe this was tied for the highest total from Vegas. Looks like 49.5. Looks like there's 3 games at 49.5. Bills, Dolphins, Detroit Commanders, which is not on the slate, I don't believe, and then Rams and 49ers all at 49.5. So going to be a high scoring game. So I agree. I think Stafford is a good call there. I agree with both those calls. Josh Allen and Stafford are on my list as well. I'm going to go with the guy that's been kind of in the MVP talk, believe it or not, and that's Drake May at Tampa Bay, 6.4. I expect this game to be a little bit of a shootout too. I think Tampa Bay is going to be able to score some points, which is going to force the Patriots to also kind of score some points. And Drake May has just been awesome, even with his legs. You know, he's not really thought of as a running quarterback, but you know, he is running the ball quite a bit. Has a few rushing touchdowns on the season as well. So at 6.4, I think he's definitely a viable option there. And he's got some really good cheap stacking options too if you want to go cheap on the side. So I like Drake May a lot. I'll just mention the other guys that we had in the top there. Lamar Jackson. I think Tim and Josh both had Lamar Jackson. So does Gerson. Baker Mayfield on the list. And Jackson Dart.
Wait. I want to talk about Baker and Jackson Dart.
All right, go ahead.
Well, basically, sorry, not Jackson Dart, more Baker. So, Baker struggled before he came. Before they went on their bye week. I think they're going to adjust and everything. And I think this game is going to be very interesting because both teams stop the run. So they're going to force the passing game. So I'm going to have a lot of exposure to Baker based on that and based on how cheap the stacks are. I mean, you have like Taz Johnson, K. Dalton, Emeka Ibuka, or like Rob Gronkowski would say, Boo-Boo. So give me a lot of Baker. That's my input on that.
I like it. We'll move down into the to the value tier, and I'll kick us off here, and I'll go right back to that game with the 49ers and the Rams, and talk about Mac Jones. You know, we've seen this game just a little while ago, a couple weeks ago. I mean, put up 25 points versus the Rams in LA. Now they're at home. He's only 5,000. You know, I think they're going to have a good game plan once again. Shanahan always seems to have a good game plan for the Rams. It is a division game. They know each other very, very well. But I do expect Mac Jones to be able to put up some good, decent points here at 5K. He's definitely a viable option. What about you, Josh? You got any value quarterbacks you like here?
I'm digging J.J. McCarthy. Maybe my Michigan fanhood is showing in a little homerism with the man who brought a national championship to them a few years ago. But the thing that maybe is somewhat underrated in DFS in general is that McCarthy's got some high variance to him. He'll take some sacks. He might put the ball in harm's way, but if he puts himself in a hole, KOC's not going to have a choice but let him throw the ball and keep up. And when you've got a pass catching collection that includes Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, even Aaron Jones out of the backfield, like you got a chance to put some points up, and he's got what has traditionally been called sneaky gym rat athleticism for reasons, but in all seriousness, he can scramble. And the Ravens are 4th this year in man coverage rate at 37.5%, according to the fantasy points data suite. And if they're not spying JJ McCarthy and they're playing man coverage, then he's going to have scrambling opportunities, especially if they're in a negative game script and playing from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that call a lot. Gerson, you got one more value there, Jackson Dart. I know I mentioned him earlier, but go ahead and give us a real quick rundown on Jackson Dart, and then we'll get to the tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Dart, I don't even know how his price is still so cheap. I mean, he has scored 18.6 fantasy points, multiple touchdowns in his first 6 NFL starts. I mean, and there's been some brutal matchup too. Like he hasn't had easy matchup, so you got to appreciate that. He's just a Konami code quarterback. Game environment should be pretty good too. The Giants, I mean, they're playing for Dable. I mean, you can tell that team wants to play for him.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they gave up on him. But this game environment against Chicago, we've seen Chicago's defense. We saw it last week versus the Bengals. It could be very sneaky. It gives me a lot of like vibe of last week,
Yep.
And if it shoots out, it can. I mean, they're not that bad offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, they can move the ball. I mean, but
Pretty
at his
straightforward
price,
stacking options too. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Theo Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson, and then I don't know if I
And
really
his
want to
legs.
involve the running back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, definitely.
Nope, full agree.
All right, let's get to the tight ends.
Did somebody say tight ends?
All right, Josh, kick us off here. What's one of your favorite calls here at the tight end position?
I swear I'm not being a homer or point chasing, but I'm going back to Kincaid again. The Dolphins are just getting flamed by tight ends this year. Kincaid had a good game against them earlier in the season. And even though James Cook is not on the injury report, it would make some sense if the Bills took a little bit off of his plate in a game that they're expected to win comfortably. Maybe they don't run him into the muck in the goal line and instead get some looks to Kincaid down in that area of the field. And I mean, the matchup is just so juicy. And you already cited Allen's excellence against the Dolphins. So honestly, if he's lighting them up, most likely Kincaid's on the receiving end of that. So I'm digging Kincaid again this week.
Yeah, I like it. And for my my dynasty shares of Ray Davis, can we get some Ray Davis, please? It's like he just disappeared in that offense. Last year he had a little bit of a spark, but
I don't know what happened, man. Like he at least was the second running back to come in. Now you have Ty Johnson going in there. I'm like, okay.
He disappeared entirely. He pissed somebody off in that coaching team. All right, G, what you got for one of your top?
So I love the call Kincaid. I'm gonna go with Trey McBride. I mean, it was rough at the beginning, right? Like people were like saying, Trey McBride's ever gonna get a touchdown? Well, he does now. McBride scored 3 touchdowns with Kyler Murray in 21 games. But it's all right, guys. We're okay with Jacoby Brissett. It's almost as sweet as eating a brisket, man. He has 4 touchdowns with him in 3 games, man. He turned 5 to 55, 1 receiving touchdown. I mean, the guy's just a machine, though. I mean, he's the best weapon they have. Sorry, Marvin Harrison. You dropped too many balls, man. I can't call you a weapon yet. But I'm not deployed the highest rate on zone coverage, and he does very successful against zone coverage. Obviously, that's what a tight end should do, right? They should be very good against zone coverage because that's basically where they eat and live. But his price is a little bit expensive. It is $6,000, but I think there is enough value on this slate, especially with some of the lower tier quarterback pricing, that you can play him. I am not a person that will ever say that it's gonna be a double tight end week, but I sometimes after last week I do think about it sometimes, But you could play Kincaid as a wide receiver, like a flex spot, and then there's some cheaper tight end that you could get in there. But McBride's probably the best tight end in the game right now. It's pretty simple. You want to play him. I mean, there's no what's his name? No Tyler Warren on this slate.
No Bowers.
No Travis. No Bowers. No Kelsey. Wait, Kelsey's not on the slate, right? Yeah, he's not on the slate.
Correct.
I'm tripping. But yeah, so either way, Kelsey's old and washed. He's ready to retire and have a kid and go to La La Land with Taylor Swift.
All right, yeah, I had both those guys on my list as well, and I'll go back to the well again, not point chasing as Josh said, but going back to Loveland again this week. He had a kind of a coming out party last week. I think that he's finally kind of broken through. I don't think Cole Kmet's going to be a thing anymore. I think at 4.1 versus the Giants, he's definitely in play. And Caleb seems to trust him now, especially after last week when he caught that game-winning touchdown. And, that's puts a lot of confidence in your quarterback. So at 4.1, I like him a lot. Tim has his sheet filled out as well. He had all the same guys that we have, but he also added Laporta to that list as well versus the Washington Commanders. Obviously, a terrible defense right now at 4.4. Laporta is also in play. And Gerson had Hunter Henry. So now we'll move down into the value tier. Josh, go ahead and kick us off here with the value.
Well, I didn't talk about Lamar Jackson when we were talking about the expensive quarterbacks, but I'll talk about one of his his blitz beaters in Mark Andrews. And he's just a different player when Lamar Jackson's out there. He's trusted in the red zone. And looking at his zone numbers or his numbers against the blitz the last 2 years, this year and last year, he's just a reliable option who's peppered. And we know that Brian Flores is full send all the time with the blitz. So if you can get somebody that cheap that's got red zone prowess and is going to catch a handful of passes, just rack up those point per reception points at DraftKings and take it at 3.4K.
Yeah, I love that call. And he'll probably be lower owned as well, too. People seem to be not on Mark Andrews of late, so that's a good call. I'll go next here, and I'll take Cade Otton versus New England at 3.9. You know, the injuries to their receiving core is well documented. You know, no Godwin again this week. No Bucky Irvin, who was also a pass catcher that they no longer have. Obviously, Mike Evans is done for the season. So Cade Otton really is the only familiar face for Baker Mayfield when he drops back to pass. So I think Otton is going to be peppered with targets as well. And we've already talked about the potential of this game shooting out. So I like Otton a lot. G, what you got for one of your values?
Yeah, give me Theo Johnson. I was kind of shocked when I looked at his numbers. I didn't realize that he had a double-digit game quite a bit. And, well, let's see. He reached double-digit fantasy points in 4 of his last 6 games and basically scored 5 times in that span. So that's pretty impressive for tight ends. Now, while sometimes we don't really think of like double-digit is impressive for tight end, but there's very few that do it. And the ones that do it, it's basically you're leaping the field, you know.
But when you can get one at under 4K like you got with Theo Johnson, you got to love that too. That salary savings is huge.
Definitely.
And definitely. He's one of the person you're probably going to correlate with your stack with Jackson Dart to make it cheap. Yep. So again, that game, I'm telling you, it's going to be sneaky like that movie, Mr. Deed.
All right, I'm just going to mention the other value tight ends just so we can get enough time for running backs and receivers. Isaiah Likely in that same Ravens offense, you know, he's going to have one of his blow-up games here soon at 2.9. He's worth the click. Greg Dulcich at 2.6, also down as those cheap tight ends. Let's see, Gerson's got David Njoku there. I like that call a lot. And looks like everybody we got on the value list. Let's go ahead and get to our running backs.
It's time for running backs. Running backs.
All right, we'll go ahead and get our locks out of the week out of here because we all have running backs as our locks of the week. So let me hit the drop.
Lock it in.
All right, Josh, you got the most expensive lock of the week, so you go first here.
Well, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm going with CMC. I mean, the guy's been over 100 scrimmage yards in all but one game. And he's got a nose for the end zone. He's game script proof. And as we talked about with the value quarterbacks, values at tight end, it's not difficult to squeeze him in with some of the forthcoming receivers that we're going to talk about. And I'd mentioned loving Stafford earlier. So, I mean, that's just a great game stacking environment. So, again, not going to overthink it. Don't need to tell people how good CMC is. I think that's pretty straightforward. So we'll move on with the running back.
Absolutely.
Never heard of him.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna hit the drop again.
Lock it in.
All right,
sorry, I have to go back on Josh. It was funny because I was talking to one of my coworkers. He started playing fantasy football this year, and he goes, "Someone told me they want to trade CMC. Who the hell is CMC?" I'm like, Christian McCaffrey. He goes, "Gee, this is only my second year playing, and they offered me a trade. They said CMC for Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a Lion fan." I'm like, "You accept that right away, dude."
Yeah, for sure.
But back on my lock of the week. The guy that wow, Rico Dowdle, baby. I can't believe his price is still 6.3, man.
Yeah, no one's
insane. I mean, if you haven't heard this on any podcast yet, then I don't know what podcast you're listening to, but everybody can say Rico Dowdle lead the league in rushing, and he's in third place in rushing, even without playing 2 full games as a starter or something like that. I don't know. But I'm like, Jesus. But no, I mean, the guy's a beast. We said it on the show last week. The drum were beating for him to get more touches. And what's his name?
Chuba.
Canella?
Chuba.
No, well, yeah, him too. But Canella is the coach. Is that his name?
Yes.
He basically flat out. And thank you for being straightforward and honest, because we need that more in the industry from coaches. I understand there's strategies out there and their job's on the line. Well, guess what? It's shit. Relax, dude. But Rico Dowdle, he has a great matchup. The matchup is what I'm more intrigued in. Besides the workload, he's going to get the workload as well. 6.3K. The matchup is very, very good. The New Orleans Saints allowed the 12 most yards against yard behind contact and the 6th most yards per game at 109. Well, Kyron Williams had 25 for 114 and a touchdown. I love that Kyron did that, but Rico Dowdle, I mean, when he gets all the workload, I expect nothing less, you know. So you're gonna give me that. Jonathan Taylor's salary is too high. Could this be it? Well, he's not on the slate. Sorry, Mickey.
Hey, and fun fact with Rico Dowdle. This is the first time the Panthers are favored all season. They weren't even favored against the Jets. So, I mean, like, you got to love getting a favored Panthers that want to run to their heart's content anyway, force feeding Rico the ball against a team that has the lowest time of possession in the league this year. I mean, you're dead on with that Rico call. Like,
and you can use a correlation too. You can use a correlation to their defense too, because I think their defense will do pretty decent against Tyler. Is it Gosh or Scotch or what is it? I'm about to say Scotch, you know, just like the Scotch. I don't know his name.
Shuck. Yeah.
Okay.
Shuck.
Oh, yeah. But
I have one last. I got one last stat on Rico Dowdle. I actually mentioned this on my Wednesday show. This is from JJ Zacharyson on Twitter. Rico Dowdle outsnapped Chuba Hubbard 42-13 on Sunday, and per PFF, he ran 12 routes to Hubbard's 4. Dowdle also became the first running back to rush for over 100 yards against the Packers this year. He had 130. So all good things, all pointing to him getting the full workload. Chuba Hubbard is an afterthought in this offense now. So, yes, I love that Dowdle call for sure.
The real question with Rico Dowdle is does he get to 3 touchdowns and 3 pumps this week, or does he just keep it at two again and hope that the league doesn't stick him with a fine?
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get the last lock out of the way.
Lock it in.
All right, this guy was on a bye last week, but I was high on him pretty much all year long, and that is Quinshon Judkins from the Cleveland Browns, 6.5 going up against the Jets. The Jets were kind of middle of the road in run defense, and then they traded away their best run stopper in Quentin Williams. Obviously not there anymore. Judkins steps into this. He's going to get a full workload. He's fully healthy by all accounts. I know he had a shoulder injury going into the bye week, but by all accounts, he is fully healthy at 6.5, and the workload I'm expecting to see him get. And that Jets team has to feel kind of defeated, right? I mean, the team basically said, we're giving up on this year. We're trading away all of our good players. We tried to trade away Brees Hall. We couldn't get rid of him. That's going to be a hard thing to sort of motivate your players to go out there and play a game now. So I think Judkins is going to run all over this Jets defense. So he is my lock of the week. All right, we got tons more running backs to talk about. We'll go back around the room here. Josh, we'll go to you next.
Well, we've already given Josh Allen his flowers, but James Cook came off the injury report. The fact that he's healthy and going back to Miami, gotta love going back to the old stomping grounds. And while I don't have the stat in front of me, Ryan Heath from Fantasy Points constantly belabors the point that when the Bills are sizable favorites, James Cook's rushing production is just through the roof, and he hasn't been catching passes. So his fantasy production has been entirely dependent on the Bills being in favorable game scripts, feeding him the rock and the long touchdowns. And although he does punch in the short ones, it's not always just the tush push with Josh Allen. So I think there's plenty of scoring to go around between Allen, Cook, and Kincaid, and and maybe some other ancillary pieces. But I think Cook gets there against Miami Dolphins defense that, as we talked about earlier, that team is spiraling as well. And then they just traded away Jalen Phillips. They're another team that just is going into the dumpster.
Yep. Yeah, I had a couple stats on him as well. Miami gives up the 6th most points to running backs, has allowed the 3rd most rushing yards and the 5th most yards per carry on the season. So James Cook, he was almost my lock of the week this week. I think he's going to eat as well. Gerson, what you got for one of your other favorite plays?
Yeah, I'm going on the other side. I'm going to Devon Achane. Yeah, I mean, he already played this team once this season, obviously. He had 32 points in that game. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. But they're going to do the same thing. Play from behind. I mean, he has 7 receptions in that game. I don't see how the game script going to go any different. It's just his price is also pretty fair, $7.4K for a guy that, I mean, I think I've heard that he only did not be top 17. He's the only running back in this season that hasn't gone outside of top 17 running back on the season. And think about it, that's pretty impressive considering there's CMC, what's his name, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, yeah, but give me Achane. I think I'm gonna try to see. Maybe I can correlate him in the stack with what's his name, Allen, because his pieces are cheap too. I mean, you have Shakur, you have Kincaid. If you have Ball, you'll play Coleman, but good luck. But yeah,
I'll go a little deeper for you if you're really looking to save salary. Don't forget about Josh Palmer, who was limited all week. If he comes back this week, he has a nice coverage matchup-wise. He performs well against Miami's coverage type. So I do think he's a sneaky guy at 3.4 if you really, are multi-entering some of these GPPs and you're looking to save that salary to get that Josh Allen Achane correlation.
I love it. But Tim says that his wife just got a good picture of him feeding his daughter watching the show. So I love it. I love watching the show with you. Good stuff. All right, I'm going to go to back again to that Tampa Bay game, and I'm going to go with Rachaad White. Bucky Irving already ruled out. Rachaad White will get the full workload again. Now, the Patriots are a decent run defense, but White gets his value really from the PPR side of things. He's not really that big on the run. So they will be passing the ball to him quite a bit. I've mentioned already all the injuries that they have to the receivers. So White is another pass catcher there at 6.4, and he's been having some pretty good games there. So I think this could be a good play for him, especially with some of the guys we just talked about, and then some of the value that we have. I think his name will be overlooked a little bit at 6.4.
Yep, and Sean Tucker, oddly enough, appeared on the injury report with a groin issue today, but I guess is not listed with the designation. So that's one of the more bizarre occurrences that I've seen. When I got the alert, I'm like, am I reading this correctly? Like, what is going on here? So definitely something to monitor with White.
Yeah, absolutely. Good call, because I didn't even catch the injury. I saw that he was fully healthy, but I guess if it was injured at all, it's definitely worrisome.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll mention a couple of the other guys that we didn't talk about. Actually, I think we did talk. With Jahmyr Gibbs. That was the one guy. Jahmyr Gibbs and Derrick Henry were two guys that Gerson had on his list that we didn't talk about. We'll move down into the value tier now, and we'll go to you first, Josh. Give me one of your values.
I mean, it's a great opportunity for Detroit to get some pent-up frustration after last year's playoff loss to the Commanders. Washington's given up 133.3 yards. Rushing yards per game, 4.76 yards per carry, and 4 rushing touchdowns to running back since week 6. So it's a David Montgomery kind of value week. And we know when the Lions beat the brakes off of opponents that both Gibbs and Montgomery can get there. And I mean, we're talking about a guy who can get the 12 to 15 touches at 5K. If he splashes pay dirt even once and gives you 50 yards, you're thrilled.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great call. Gerson, talk about your boy Monangai.
Yeah, Kyle Monangai, baby. I don't know if I'm going to play him 150 rosters this week, but I will play him. I don't know the latest on Swift, but last I checked that he was not likely to play. I don't know if that
He had an
Oh,
injury
man.
on Wednesday, and then he came back full Thursday, and then he had a personal issue today. So I'm not sure what's going on with him. They still haven't said if he's going to play or not.
Yeah, his vagina must hurt. That's why. That time of the month. Yeah, he's definitely not playing. No, I don't know. So this is kind of like a Joe Flacco situation, right? If he plays, we're playing him. If he doesn't, well, temper the expectation. Yeah, probably not. I love the David Montgomery call, so I probably just pivot to David Montgomery.
Yeah.
They're gonna blow out the Commanders, and he'll come in and do the dirty work. But yeah, Monangai, it's just more about the situation he's in, game environment too. The Giants allow the most 10 plus yards per carry to running back in this season. So, I mean, Monangai had 176 yards last week. I'm pretty excited to play him against the Giants. Like, again, I'm going back to this game. I feel like I've mentioned every play in this game. Theo Johnson, Jackson Dart, Monangai. But, yeah, I mean, the second most yards per game at 121. The 11th most receiving yards per game for running back at 33.9, and the Giants allowed 43.8 fantasy points to pair running backs week 8 and 9 against the 49ers and Eagles. And I think the Bears are just on par with that kind of offense. I mean, it's pretty shocking. I saw a stat that the Bears they're averaging 26.8 points per game.
Yeah,
holy crap! I mean,
offensively, they took pretty good.
Yeah, they took like a 10-point improvement from last year. So you got to give them their props, But yeah, give him Monangai, especially at his price point.
Yeah, 5.6 is a good price. I got two guys that I'll mention real quick. I got Travion Henderson at Tampa Bay, 5.6. Obviously, we heard today that Ramondre Stevenson is ruled out, so it'll be Henderson with that backfield. I wouldn't say to himself because I think there was a running back that got the touchdown last week that pissed me off. But
you guys should have seen my reaction. You guys should have seen my reaction. I said bash. Yeah, you know what I mean. The B word, but ASTAR. You can figure the rest of it out. I said it so loud that I woke up my friend's wife, and she's like, "What happened?"
Yeah, exactly. I was pretty pissed too. I also threw on my my sick call from 2 weeks ago. Isaiah Davis, the running back for the Jets, had a good game a few weeks ago, and I had him as my sick call. I don't know what the situation with Breece Hall is going to be. Right? They obviously he wanted to get traded. They tried to trade him. He's not going to be there next year. He's not their future. So maybe they give some more work to Isaiah Davis to see what they have in him, to see if they need to be looking at running back in the offseason or they think he can take the full workload. So at 5K, he's not a bad name to click on as well.
He's going to be like that. I don't know if you ever seen that puppet monkey where he looks from the side, he's like looking like this.
Yeah.
Like when they ask him to go in, he'll be like, really? You really want me to go in?
You really want me to go in? Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move into the wide receivers.
And now, wide receivers.
All right, Gerson, you kick us off here with one of your top plays here at wide receiver.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm pretty much like he came pretty close to being my lock of the week, to be honest. But it's just we've seen every week, if you play the Commanders, you play the top wide receiver that's facing them, right? Let's see. He crushed against the Vikings. He did great. He had 18 fantasy points against them. But the thing is, the Commanders, again, cover 3, 28%. Cover 1, 25%. That's 53%. He averages about 2.39 yards per route run on that. And if you do the math, say he runs, I don't know, the math, the whole game. But he's probably going to get like 25 points, 20 points,
Yeah.
And it's pretty safe to say that I don't think the Commanders will compete in this game. That offense is just too prolific, and that defense is just nasty. I don't think people realize how nasty that defense has been. But sorry, Tim, I have to say it. Well, the first game of the season, the Green Bay Packers did great against them. After that, they've been annihilating every team they face. I mean, it's just been left and right. And, they lost 2 games, right? So who was the second team they lost to? I can't remember. But either way.
Chiefs and Vikings.
Chiefs and Vikings, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I can't see the Commanders without Jaden Daniel, which, by the way, Dan Quinn, you're an idiot, but it totally ruined my fantasy football season in my home league. But yeah, I can't see the Commanders stopping him at all. He's gonna be my highest owned wide receiver probably, but it's really dependent on a couple things because I want more value to open up because it's really hard to fit 8.4K, especially when I really want to play Christian McCaffrey. And it's going to be hard, but it's just hard, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like, I want to play him. So he's probably going to be one of my highest owned wide receivers for sure, though.
Good stuff. What about you, Josh? What are one of your favorite plays?
I mean, I mentioned McCaffrey. I mentioned Stafford. Let's go right back out west and say Puka Nacua. He's tied for first this year among receivers with 150 routes and targets per route run at 0.37. He's averaging 101.6 receiving yards per game. Stafford's salary isn't so prohibitive that you can't get in CMC, Nacua, and a handful of values here and there. So it's definitely doable. But yeah, I mean, again, not really spouting off anybody that's going to shock anyone. But yeah, Puka Nacua has just been absolutely sensational this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't be a show if I didn't mention JSN. I've been, calling him copy paste. Now he's gotten to that little point now where he's a little bit more expensive than we're used to paying. He used to be in that Keenan Allen range where he's like just below 8K, but he's up in that 8.6 range now. So he's definitely climbed in price, but still, obviously I think he's killed it in literally every game. I got him in my home league, and I think every single game he has crushed it, either over 100 yards or a touchdown, and sometimes both. So 8.6 versus Arizona, he's definitely somebody that's to keep in your player pool for sure. And like I said, we got a ton of receivers, so I'll just mention the next guy on my list, and that is Jay Jettas. Obviously not playing as well as we had hoped, that we're used to. At 7.9, as his value has come down a little bit. One thing that was encouraging is that last week McCarthy targeted him 9 times. It was like forcing the ball to Jay Jettas, which I liked a lot. And versus the Baltimore defense, who we know has struggled this year, I think Jettas can have a really big game here. So he'll be overlooked, I think, because there'll be some cheap value, plus the Puka Nacuas and the JSNs of the world, and the Amon-Ra St. Browns. I think Jay Jettas might get overlooked at 7.9, so he's one of my plays as well. Gerson, let's go back to you. What do you got for one of your favorite receivers here?
I just want to say this. Everybody thinks that, like, Jamar Chase, Jetta, and Amon-Ra have been the best wide receiver this season, but really the best wide receiver in the league has been JSN. I mean, the guy has been the most consistent. The guy has scored the most points. He's just a monster. And shout out to Sam Darnold. At least you're not a pumpkin like we all thought you were going to be.
Yeah.
But back to wide receivers. Emeka Ibuka. I mean, he's 7K. He did struggle a little bit before the season. I think it's the whole team, right? Like, they needed that bye week so bad. I mean, Baker was struggling. Emeka Ibuka, he had a hamstring tweak. He's now been 2 weeks off it, so he should be pretty good.
Not bored at all, so he should be good.
Yep.
Yeah. So, 7K though, he's that mid-range price that you're on to paying for, but I think he'll be worth it. This game environment, like I said, I think they're not going to run the ball at all. You can't. Both defense, and they're just gonna pass it. It's gonna be a passing game environment. It's gonna go back and forth. I think if you're gonna correlate it, you might want to, because it's gonna be an expensive correlation if you really think about it. It's gonna be a Buka, probably Cotton, Otten, and then you run it back, and you got to pick you. I mean, you can do Hunter Henry. I guess it won't be that expensive. I was thinking someone else, but Hunter Henry.
You can go Pop Douglas at 4K.
Pop Douglas. Butte's out, right? He's not playing, right?
Butte is out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, give me a lot of Hunter Henry, I guess, but it's just, Baker's still what, 6,300? How much is Baker? No, Baker. He's 6,200.
Yep.
But No, I want to have a lot of go through that game. I think it's giving me like the all right. If I don't follow my research, I'm gonna regret it.
Yeah,
And I hate when that happens. I think
definitely.
like Josh, I'm not trying to call you out, but like we talked about it before
No.
the show. Like we have to trust our gut, and I'm
Yes.
trusting my gut on this one. I love you, Josh. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good. Hey, man, I learned that lesson last week for all of us. So it was
I've
just a
learned
good reminder.
We've been doing this for what, 10 years, Jeff?
Yeah.
Yep.
How many times do we say we've got to trust our gut? And sometimes we're like, damn it, we
Yeah.
should have trusted our gut.
Yep, absolutely. I do want to mention one more player that both Tim and I had on there, and really just benched him so I could hit the drop.
We fly, no lie, you know it's all we rise outside. It's like showbiz.
Nico Collins at 6.7. He's a favorite of the show. Obviously, we have a whole drop for him. Hasn't had quite the season that we had hoped, but he's been coming on of late versus Jacksonville at 6.7 is a good play. And Tim also has Zay Flowers at 5.9 on his list as well. All right, we're moving down into the value receivers, and we got a ton of values here. So, Josh, kick us off here with one of your values.
I'm going to go with a guy that Gerson should hopefully be mixing into his Giants and Bears games, and we're going to go with Luther Burden. The Giants play man coverage at the highest rate this season, and they play single high coverage at the 6th highest rate this year. Meanwhile, Luther Burden is at 0.2 targets per route run and 3.8 yards per route run at against man coverage. And he's got 0.21 targets per route run and 4.09 yards per route run against single high coverage. Dude does not need a lot of opportunities to pay off that 3.8 salary against those coverage types. I think he's also going to be sneaky because Olamide Zaccheaus has got a slightly cheaper salary, and people just looking at the game logs are going to see that he's got a handful of receptions and has played well. But give me Burden, because if one of them is going to go off on a slight volume in a 4-receiver rotation, it's going to be Burden, not Zaccheaus.
Yeah, I like it. Good call. I'll go next here, and I'm going to go back to that Tampa Bay and New England game and talk about Tez Johnson. New England has the 5th worst pass DVOA overall. Tez Johnson, again, I'm mentioning it, all the injuries, no Godwin, no Mike Evans. Tez Johnson really started to come on before the bye week there. Had a couple big games, and at 4.5 is still in that really good range where you can afford to pay up for some more expensive guys to cover his salary. But I like Tez Johnson a lot. Actually trying to get Tez Johnson in my home dynasty league. Don't tell anybody. Trying to trade, get him in there. I think he's going to have a good rest of the season here. So Tez Johnson at 4.5. Gerson, what do you got for one of your values?
I just realized I apologize, but Jack, I'll put it on. I don't have a sick caller tag, but I know who I want. My bad, dog. Yeah, Ted Johnson. I love that call. Obviously, if I just talked about Baker and Deebo Samuel. I mean, the Lions are gonna outscore them probably like 28-0 in the first half. They're gonna be playing from behind. Mariota. I love Mariota. Like, shout out to him, man. Like, the guy is just a true, like, pioneer, right? Like, he basically went from, like, being a franchise quarterback to, like, hey, man, you're not it. All right. And then he goes on and backs up Kirk Cousins, and then Cousins sucks, and then he just backs up every other quarterback. He's like that. He should be in the next. I don't even know how you don't have him in that commercial, the Progressive commercial, as a backup.
Oh, yeah. Backups. Yeah.
I mean, that's messed up. But yeah, give me Mariota. Gonna keep it kind of like, not competitive, but he's gonna keep it relevant. Where 5.6K Deebo, especially, I know a lot of people don't really believe in Deebo being like a running back or anything, but he can still get those handoffs, correlations and stuff.
Leaps.
But I mean, DK. I mean, he had a pretty decent game on Sunday Night Football, so they're gonna have to keep up with him. And guys, the Lions' pass defense still sucks. That's how you beat them.
Yeah, definitely. All right. In the effort of time, I'm just going to mention the other receivers that we have. We have a bunch here, so I'm going to try to list them all off and not miss any. Wandell Robinson at 5.3. We got Marvin Harrison Jr. also at 5.3. Kendrick Bourne / Jawan Jennings in that 49ers game that we've talked a lot about here. We also have, let's see, Pop Douglas, 4,000. We mentioned him in New England. I have Rashid Shaheed as a player that could potentially just, come in on his first game and really have a monster game there at 5.2 versus Arizona. And then Parker Washington, because we got the news that Brian Thomas Jr. is not going to play. So Parker Washington will step into that role at 4.7. He's a pretty good play as well. All right, we'll get to the defenses.
Defense.
All right, usually we go to Tim on the defenses here, but since he's not here tonight, we'll go to you first, G.
Yeah.
He's not ready.
I'm trying to find my stack, dude. Like, give me a.
All right, here I'll go to Josh first. I'll go to Josh, and then we'll come back to you. Go ahead and give me one of your defenses, Josh.
I'll go with the Bucs. And while we expect it to be a shootout environment, and I do think it can get there, one of the fun parts about getting to a shootout environment is that Drake may take sacks. Drake may take a lot of sacks, and he's very much like a young Josh Allen in that it is just YOLO, and he'll put the ball in harm's way occasionally. And against the blitz, he's got great numbers, but he's also got turnovers and sacks. So that's a great opportunity for getting some points in a game that people want to stack, as they should. But I think the defense at 2.7K is quite interesting to, rack up some sacks, maybe even get a defensive touchdown in what turns into a shootout. And at that point, like, you're just at gravy at that point.
Yeah, I love that call. I'll go with the Cleveland Browns, 2.9 at the New York Jets. We've talked about how they basically give up on the season, traded away some of their best players. The Jets are going to be reeling, and I think the Browns have maybe the best defensive player in the league this year in Myles Garrett. I think he had 5 sacks last game out, something crazy like that. So he's just a monster. At 2.9, I think this is way too cheap. So I think the Browns are going to be a popular click for sure.
I think the Browns had the best defensive players for like the last 5 years, Jeff. It's okay,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, definitely. There's some that have been in the conversation. I think this year, there's no conversation.
Dude, that was crazy. He had 6 sacks?
Yeah, it was insane. I was like, every time he's in
the
and how do you have that many sacks and y'all lose the game? And it's like, my goodness.
He's like, I'm getting paid $150 million. I don't care.
Yep. All right, G, what do you got for one of your defenses?
Yeah, defense. I always try to attack. So this is more like a like I didn't see anybody with defense, and I'm like, I gotta trust my gut, I guess. No, I'm kidding. I didn't say that, but I said I gotta trust myself. The Baltimore Ravens. I think everybody just looked at the Ravens and, well, their defense been awful this year, right? They always turn it on in the second half. Against Minnesota, I don't think, and this is just my personal opinion, I really think Jason McCarthy is not going to be playing in the NFL in 3 years. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. He's very indecisive. They almost, is that even a word, dumbify it?
Yeah. You just made it a word.
They almost dumbify the playbook for him. Like, it's almost at me as a let me pull a Jared good. Me as a youth football coach. You don't know Jared, Josh, but we do. Me as a football legend coach, I can almost predict where his first read's gonna go based on the formation and everything. So, like, if I can think about it as a person that sits on his couch as a fat ass and eating like what did I eat last weekend? Right, a burger. I ate burgers. A burger and a beer. And what makes me think that the defense is not going to be able to do it? 3.3K, Baltimore Raven. I think they'll force some turnovers. Even if I wouldn't be shocked, pick 6, man.
Yeah, I think Ravens can definitely have a little bit of a bounce back because they are a defense that should be.
So there's ownership on that. Ownership is so low on them. I think they're my pivot contrarian defense. Sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just saying the Ravens can definitely have a bounce back. They've got some good players there, and they've just been injured and have had some bad luck. A couple more defenses that we didn't talk about. New York Giants at Chicago at 2.5 if you want to go really cheap. The Bills defense at Miami at 3.7 if you want to pay all the way up and hope that they get a monster game for you. Tim has the Texans there and the Jags as well. And I think that is all the defenses that we got. Let's go ahead and get to our stacks.
Going4two.com's weekly stack report.
All right, I'll kick us off here with my stack, and I'm going to the Seattle game here. I'm going Darnold with JSN and Rashid Shaheed, and then running it back with Marvin Harrison Jr. for some salary saving. You could probably fit McBride there if you wanted to go cheap elsewhere, but I do like Marvin Harrison with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. So that'll be my full game stack. You can also go with a skinny stack there and just go JSN and MHJ if you want. Or JSN and McBride, also a viable option there as well. Josh, what do you got for your stack?
We're gonna go with a skinny because I mean, for starters, I've already mentioned that I love the Rams and 49ers game. I'm digging the Minnesota and Baltimore game. So to get those high salaried players in there, you need some salary savers. So give me David Montgomery and my sick call of the week, Jalen Lane. Debo's got some issues against man coverage dating back to forever. And Jalen Lane has 46 routes against man coverage this year and 0.22 targets per route run and 2.46 yards per route run. And I mean, we know, even without Aaron Glenn there, Detroit is playing man coverage at a high rate and daring you to beat their guys. So give me a super cheap stack of Jalen Lane and David Montgomery and then jamming some studs.
Love it. I love it. G, what you got?
You just gave Brian, he did it in the chat, like an orgasm by mentioning that name, dude. That guy loves picking the fourth string wide receiver that comes out of nowhere, man. Yeah, basically, he's the guy that feeding water into the players, and then he comes in and Jalen Lane. No,
scores.
Great. I like it, man. I like it. Yeah. My stack. Wait, do you want me to talk, Jeff?
Yeah, go ahead. Give us your stack.
Sorry, I'm all hosting myself, basically. Yeah, my stack is basically said it on the whole show. So if you can't figure it out, Baker Mayfield, Ted Johnson, Emeka Ibuka, and I'm running back with Hunter Henry. That stack is very cheap. I mean, you're looking at 3,500, 7,000, and 4,500. I mean, it's not expensive at all, and it'll allow you to fit a bunch of other players. I guess it depends how you roster construct it, but it does allow you to fit my sick call of the week, my locker of the week. Rico Dowdle. Yeah,
good stuff. I'll go ahead and give Tim's stack of the week, and I think it's the same one that Kyle just put up on the screen here as well. Tim is going with Josh Allen, Kincaid, and then running it back with Achane. I think that'll be a good stack as well. It should be a high-scoring stack. Kyle's got Keon Coleman mixed in there just for me. As a huge Keon Coleman fan, he's let me down this year. So, but yeah, so that's definitely in play as well. All right, it is time for our sick calls.
And now, the sick call of the week.
All right, Josh, you kind of already given your sick call, but anything else you want to say about Jalen Lane?
Yeah, last week he ran a route on, I believe it was 57% of Washington's routes. Luke McCaffrey is on IR. Noel Brown's on IR. Terry McLaurin's probably out if he hasn't been ruled out already. And he played the slot primarily last week. And Detroit has faced a very high rate of targets to the slot lately. So, again, I think between his numbers against man coverage and between the slot rate to Detroit and the increase in playing time for Lane on a team that's going nowhere. I mean, why are we going to give Chris Moore more routes when that guy's just getting his steps in? I mean, he's a cardio king out there. He's not doing anything. So get Jalen Lane a little bit more run in a lost season at this point, and let's see what we got.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that call. Cardio king. I like that. We're going to have to use that name from now on. Love it. G, what you got for your sick call?
If you look at Chris's Moore picture on Prize Pick, he looks like a Mexican porn star. I'm like, who the hell is this guy, dude? But no, my sick call is AJ Barner. He's 3.1K. He's a very athletic tight end. I know he's gotten like less of the workload the last couple of weeks to Elijah Arroyo, but they've been splitting that pretty evenly. He already had a good game against them earlier in the season. So he had, I believe it's like 3 for 31 or 3 for 32 and a touchdown. But the Cardinals give up the 6th most yards per game at 68 and the 5th most reception to tight ends at 6.6. If I can get, I don't know, 3 for 30, let me repeat that, 3 for 32 and 1 touchdown, I'll be happy with that, But no, I mean, he's 3.1K. I started thinking about it. I do think, and I'm going to do this in effort or in the honor of Tim Dobo, I do think it's a double tight end week. Because you had Trey McBride basically as like a wide receiver 1 potential, and then we have all these other cheap wide tight end. And I love how I'm saying this when we have a sick call as a tight end. But yeah, Charlie Kohler, dude, like the guy's a legend, right? He probably went home that night. He's like, yeah, 2 touchdowns, wife. I only had 2 catches. What up? Hey, is that pastrami ready? Is that pastrami sandwich? Like, he was so excited. But no. Yeah, give me AJ Barner, man.
All right. I'll give Tim sick call. He's got Mac Hollins as his sick call just to keep it official. And my sick call, he plays for who does he play for now?
He's a Patriot.
He's a Patriot, yeah, that's right.
Huh.
Yep. So I am also going with the Patriot on my squad as well. My sick call is going to be Kyle Williams at 3K. And shout out to Dennis, friend of the show, Dennis. He gave this sick call to me because he pointed out that everybody's kind of on DeMario Douglas, Pop Douglas this week at 4,000. But Kyle Williams actually had twice as many snaps last week and ran more routes than DeMario Douglas did. Douglas just had a bigger game. So Kyle Williams will be on the field. We already mentioned that Kayshon Boutte is going to be out. So Kyle Williams, I believe he's a 3rd-round rookie this year. He has the pedigree. They're going to want to use him if they can, see what they have. So I think Kyle Williams at 3K is a worthy click. He's not going to kill your lineup if he gets only a couple points there, but I think he'd be a viable play. All right, fellas, that wraps the show up. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Just to clarify, guys, as of right now, AJ Barner ownership is 2.48%. I don't want Jeff coming to me or Tim coming to me that the ownership changed. I can't predict the future if I could. I'm sorry, Jeff. I love you. Josh, you're awesome, but I wouldn't be on this show if I'm rich as hell, Kidding. I'd probably still be on the show because I love Jeff that much.
Gerson is referring to his sick call last week. I forgot to mention that I had a back-to-back sick call. I hit Isaiah Davis. After not hitting all year, I've now gone Isaiah Davis and Olamide Zaccheaus back-to-back. Gerson also went back-to-back with Shimmery DK. And then last week he picked Parker Washington, which at the time of our show, he was very low owned. By the time he got to Sunday, he was basically chalk. But we'll give it to you, Gerson, because he was low owned on Friday, so it does still count. Gerson goes back-to-back on his sick call as well.
Hey, good job, Jeff.
Absolutely. All right, fellas, that wraps the show up. I want to thank everybody in the chat. We had a good, lively chat tonight. I see Kyle in there. Jamie's in there. Mickey. Let's see. A bunch of people. A bunch of names I don't even recognize. Tim's in there. So thank you all once again for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate y'all staying up late with us.
You forgot Daphne, dude.
Forgot Daphne. Oh,
Daphne was watching with Pops. Yep. You're right. Sorry. I was like, who's Daphne? I forgot. Yeah, absolutely. That's our newest fan. Our newest fan for sure.
True.
All right. Thank you, Josh, for coming on the show. I really appreciate you jumping on, man. Any parting words here for everybody out there? Anything you want to plug? Anything going on?
Nothing special to plug. Just good luck to everybody in week 10. Hopefully see everybody in 2nd, 3rd, 4th behind me at the top of the GPP leaderboards this week.
Good stuff. G, you got anything out to send us out of here?
No, man. You can follow me on at Fantasy DFS. Congratulations, Tim, on your baby, by the way. I'm glad we have the newest, youngest fan in the world. I mean, probably the most beautiful fan in the world out there. Congratulations, Tim. Again, we miss you. Josh, thank you for stepping up too. But no, just find me there. Find me on this show every Friday. But dude, I can't believe it's week 10. Honestly, every week it makes me sad to know that we only have we go up until week 16. Is that right, Jeff?
Yeah, I
18.
think. Yeah, well.
Oh yeah, you guys. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't go up. We don't do 17 and 18 usually. I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tough to do DFS. You don't know what's going on Friday, so for sure.
Yeah.
All right. As always, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Geoff Lambert77. Be sure to check out all of the shows on the Going for Two Live Network. Check out Jamie and Topher on Sunday morning. They do a sit-start show. They'll probably cover DFS too if you wanted to jump in the chat and ask some questions about DFS. For Josh, for Gerson, I'm Jeff. Good luck this week, and we'll see y'all next week.